Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm your game bastard for this evening, Austin.
Hello, I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
You may have realized some stuff has switched around. That's because I'm running a new game that we're starting this week called Cold Shadows, a game of espionage and betrayal.
Oh, thought it was about heating and air conditioning equipment.
It's more about espionage.
My character's totally useless.
Why does your character sheet have Freon on it?
Well, I misunderstood the game. I don't make characters very much.
It's not even an attribute.
No, well, mistakes were made. Yeah, but I get to play. Usually I'm running games on Bastard Quest, but not now.
So Cold Shadows is a game with pretty complicated DNA, and I don't mind saying it took a lot of extra work to put this together. The game was released by Gallant Knight Games. I believe it was one of the first titles they released under their label after it was kickstarted in 2017 and developed by several authors. Built on the rule set of some games that you actually might have heard of called Blood and Honor and Houses of the Blooded, which are pretty independent games.
Yeah, I've heard of Houses of the Blooded. I've not heard of Blood and Honor. Houses of the Blooded.
Yeah, the developer of those is named, oddly enough, John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick has been around in RPG design for a very long time. I want to say he was one of the designers at Last Unicorn Games back in the day. You know, it's interesting. There are a lot of investigative games in the RPG hobby, but there are not a lot of games that are just about espionage.
Well, if we've learned anything in this podcast and the many, many games we've played, mystery is very fucking hard to pull off in an RPG.
Very hard to do.
And
Yeah.
the one game we played that pulled it off well was Brindlewood Bay, which was seemingly a similar kind of thing where the characters were creating the story as it went along.
Absolutely. And this one does not even reach that far into collaborative narrative, and that's one of the things that I was a little bit surprised by. The archetypes and sentiments that are kind of described in the book lean more on the side of like boardroom intrigue between the spy masters of a story like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. The mechanics are all firmly rooted in your Bourne, your Bond, your Mission Impossible, stuff like that.
Your A-Team.
Yeah.
Urologist.
I have to say, just as a side note, I don't know what was going on with the intelligence agencies in 2017 or if the developers were just still on a cultural hangover from Trump getting elected, but you can feel the moral outrage kind of emanating off of this book. It describes all these mechanics for things like betrayal and, paranoia between players.
Assassinating the commander-in-chief.
And then you get into the rules and you see how much it heavily, heavily disincentivizes any of that. And so I did some slight rebalancing just to make sure that we can kind of include all of the stuff that is described in the game while still staying as close as possible to rules as written. So here's kind of an overview of the way Cold Shadows is going to play out. Much like many games, everything kind of comes down to action rolls, or in this game's case, risks. There are several games that are basically about dice pool building, and that's essentially what this one is. The target number for any task, any action roll you make, any risk, is 10. You're just trying to hit a 10 or higher. That's it. When you make a risk roll, what you're going to basically do is build your dice pool. That starts off with your virtues, which are your charisma, your resolve, perception, your violence, athleticism, and intellect. And whatever your rank is for that, that's how many dice you start off with. This is all D6, by the way. And then there's several modifiers that kind of stack on top of that, from aspects, which work a lot like talents, to if your code name is relevant to the action you're trying to take, you get 2 bonus die.
Now, what if your code name is always relevant because you have a really good one?
I'll be the judge of that.
I'm just asking for a friend.
It is a really fucking good one.
Thank you.
That dude fits in everywhere.
The other unique thing about the game is that as you're building your dice pool, you can also make wagers. And wagers are, let's say Kyle is trying to lie to someone, and he has the aspect or the talent of don't trust the dossier, which gives you a +3 bonus to lying. That means that if he's got a charisma of 2, he gets a total of 5 dice to try to make that roll. Now, keep in mind, he's just got to make a 10.
I feel like my odds are very good.
Yeah. So Kyle may choose to risk, let's say, 2 dice and try to make the roll with just 3. And if he is successful, those 2 that he wagered are going to become trust. And that's our meta currency for Cold Shadows. Much like momentum and threat, you can spend trust from the collective pool, which basically represents the trust between our 3 heroes. If they spend 1 trust point from the pool, they get 4 fucking dice to add to their dice pool for the roll. Any opposed tests, including combat, all combat in this game, there's no initiative, there's no assistance. You're just rolling against each other, and the highest roll wins. Now, the way injury works in this game is basically everybody has 5 HP. You take injuries from successful attacks. Now, any successful attack does 1 injury. If I make wagers on an attack roll against somebody, I can up the rank of that injury. So, in that same example, if I'm trying to shoot Todd, I can risk 3 dice, and if I'm still successful, that injury can be a total rank of 4.
Gotcha. So if everybody has 5 hit points, if you want to take somebody out in 1 shot, you'd need to risk 4 dice. You need to wager 4.
Yes, in which case they would still only be incapacitated and have to take additional damage on top of that, much like a lot of the pulpier games we've played.
I see.
But that is essentially what would happen.
All right. I'm ready.
And that's Cold Shadows.
Do what?
Yeah.
So now I think it's time to talk about our agents. Characters in the game are broken up into agencies, first of all, which are divided into divisions, which are made up of different units of agents. And we, of course, are following the story of the Bastard Unit.
That's our unit designation?
Yes. The agency that you work for is actually an international cooperative. It joins together several different intelligence agencies into one cooperative force for when we need to come together to deal with international threats.
Oh, like the Farmers Co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of you is from the CIA, which covers North America. One of you is from MI6, which covers all of Europe. One of you is from the FSB in Russia, which covers all of Asia. What you're working on is, you've just finished a mission, and you work for this collective agency that brings everyone together, known as the Command for the Hindrance of Anarchy and Mayhem, or CHAM. And there's lots of different aspects that go into building an agency as well, and it's what gives some of the attributes to our individual agents. So first of all, you have a director. There's an actual director figure. You establish their name and personality. The personality for your director is dangerous, which means that any agent that risks their life gets plus 2D, because everyone that works for this agency has to have kind of a cavalier attitude. The director's name for the agency is Neil.
Hello.
Named after patron member Neil.
Hi, Neil. Thank you.
An agency comes with a virtue, which is basically the virtue that agency most values in an agent, which is why everyone, when their characters were created, got a +1 to their perception.
Oh.
Every agency has assets that are available to them to help operate. CHAM has access to an operations control, which for our purposes means that you basically get an Overwatch agent. You've got a guy in the computer chair. You also have access to some what's called ComInt, which is enemy communications intel, rather. CHAM has access to some non-governmental contacts, so corporations, crime syndicates, political groups, and that is actually going to be the MacGuffin that kicks off our adventure. And lastly, CHAM has access to a military liaison, so they've got access to soldiers and equipment if you need heavier firepower. The agency also kind of establishes the aspects that are available to each of the agents. All 3 of you have very similar aspects because those 3 were picked from a list of 4 that are available to that agency. Now that we've established the agency, why don't we go around and describe our agents? So, Corey, why don't you tell us about your mastermind?
Yeah, I got the mastermind because I was the last to choose.
So I texted everybody earlier today and had them pick the archetype that we're going to aim for because I wanted to balance the team.
Yeah, his name is Enzo Picciotto, codename Dr. Puddles.
That's good.
Yeah. Basically, he's got a high intellect.
Masterminds are very good at planning operations and carrying off elaborate deceptions.
Yeah.
Because you have, if I recall correctly, a particularly high charisma too, right?
That's pretty average.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about your character.
No, the character looks like Ryu. It's a lot of average shit. He has a weakness in athleticism.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's me.
Todd, what about you?
My agent's name is Stan Paul, codename Starchild.
Gotcha.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He's the counter intel agent. Very, very high in perception. He's got a 5 in perception. He's also a rank 2.
Oh.
Which is like one of his advantages.
Yeah,
he starts
so-
out at 2nd rank.
Advantages are little extra capabilities down at the very bottom of each of our character sheets. And Todd's is more balanced than you might think. It's not that he's a level above the other characters. It's something that happens when you overbalance something like your virtues, and that advantage can kind of come into play to balance that out. So Todd has a little bit lower virtues in some areas, but he is a rank 2, which gives him bonuses in others.
I can rock and roll all night and party every day, Austin.
That's exactly what you want in an agent who is normally known for spy hunting.
That's right. Also, my weakness is violence, however.
Yeah.
But he does have a cover occupation.
Oh, yeah.
He's a yoga instructor.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, each of our agents does have cover, which may or may not come into play in this adventure, at least at first. But you can establish other covers and try to build them up over time.
He's very limber.
Yeah, Dr. Puddles is a podiatrist.
And that just leaves Kyle.
Just to clarify, Corey's character Enzo is from Italy, so I assume he is the European MI6 liaison.
As far as they know.
Right. And Todd's is Stan Paul, which is clearly an American, so he's probably CIA. So my guy has to be FSB.
I would expect nothing less.
And that makes sense because his name is Bubba Tolbert. Now, I am from a small town called Shit Britches, Missouri. Well, it's named that because John Brown came through our town once.
Yep.
Not the historical Civil War John Brown. John Brown, who played for the 76ers back in 1965.
Right.
And he pooped his pants in our town.
Really?
Yeah.
It's right there in the Boot Hill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right in Boot Hill, Missouri. Shit britches. Now, I got recruited by the FSB, and honestly, I thought it was a bank.
Yeah.
I did not realize it was a Russian intelligence agency.
Formerly the KFG
Yeah.
fucking B.
Well, to me, you say KGB, I say bank. Like, I thought it was like a credit union. Like, I get a job at the chemical plant,
Yeah.
and I put my money in the KGB.
KGB stands for Come Get Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I said. My uncle looked at me like I was the stupid one.
Right.
And so, like, halfway through training, I was like, man, I don't know anything y'all are saying, but apparently I was so good at beating up people that they were fine with it.
Yeah, and everybody at the KGB was like, yes, we also like Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, did Bubba rig the election, Kyle?
Which one?
Honestly, as a yoga instructor, Stan Paul believes that KGB is a type of sandwich. It stands for
Yeah.
kale and grapes on bread.
Now, so I've been an FSB agent for a while, and the cool thing is when you're really good at it, they let you pick your own code name. Like mine's John Dynasty.
See,
I love having 2 code names.
Don't let Danny McBride hear that code name because the John Dynasty show will be on HBO in like a month.
And so I like to my cover. It's super cool. Like, I'm a bass fisherman, pro circuit. And, like, the FSB, they just pay off people. I don't even have to be good. I just drink beer on a boat all day
yeah,
and catch some fish
you're
sometimes.
catching good bass
That's
for
right.
the KGB.
And so, now, I mean, occasionally I do have to, like, show up and, throw somebody out a window. But, I mean,
Yes, because Kyle's specialty is a hitter.
yeah. I got a 5 in violence.
Yeah, and
No, it's a 4. Sorry.
every time, but he's a friendly killer. Every time he throws a guy out the window, he screams, "Kids, broken glass!"
Yeah.
KGB.
Yeah. Well, you want
Or
to
no,
warn them.
okay, wait, kid.
Safety first.
Wait a minute, I got that old bugaboo. Kids, glass broken.
Yeah. And so that's been keeping me real busy last couple years.
Yeah.
Russia, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people don't like Russia.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do I get the feeling that John has crossed paths with Barge Hog in the past?
Yeah, it's possible.
They definitely would hang around in the same circles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. KGB kind of gets barge hog.
No, I mean, I ain't never worked on a boat.
You just hang out on one, right?
Well, I mean, a bass boat, that ain't a barge, man. Barges are tough. Like, you're gone for 30 days? Shit.
You may be noticing that we're using the KGB as an analog for FSB, and that's because it is, and we should.
That's right.
And of course, your end game is to kill Gary Busey.
Man, I'm pretty sure Gary Busey is already dead. And it just like, he's like a chicken. Like, you know how, like, you heard Granny, like, I cut off a chicken's head back in the 40s and it lived for 2 weeks. That's like Gary Busey. Like, the rest of his body just hadn't died.
Still going.
Yeah.
Saying things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. God bless him.
We were talking about my uncle, right?
So, yeah, that's our agents.
All right, I'm ready.
Chapter 1, Call for the Dead. So you 3 agents, the Bastard Unit, have just finished up a cooperative operation off the coast of Miami. You get a FaceTime call on your smartphone, and it's the director of CHAM, Neil. Said, hello, bastards. How was this operation?
So are we each individually answering our phone, or are we together somewhere in Miami?
You're together at some undisclosed location, just kind of debriefing.
We're in our hideout.
Yeah.
I always wonder, why do they call it a hideout and not a hide-in?
Shit, man, that's deep.
If you were to hide out, would you not be exposed?
You just blew my mind,
I'm
dude.
a mastermind.
So we are literally hiding in a place instead of hiding out in a place.
So Bubba takes off his sunglasses, and he is pretty badly sunburned, except for where his sunglasses have been.
Oh,
Yes, Puddles, that is why we call you the mastermind. So listen up, agents. We have an emergency situation. We really should have better people to deal with this, but you're the closest. One of our outside contacts, codenamed Blacksmith, is currently in the Bahamas making arrangements for an exchange to receive sensitive intel. We don't know who his contact is, and we don't know where the exchange will take place. All we know is that Blacksmith has arranged an appointment in a public tourist destination at 11:45 a.m. this morning. The problem is, at midnight last night, Blacksmith missed his check-in with control. So I'm sending you to the Bahamas, to Nassau.
Done.
Yes. Well, I am, for one, very glad we are not having another adventure in Florida.
I didn't know NASA was even in the Bahamas. Hey,
I always wanted to go to space camp.
Yeah, you learn something new every day. It's what I'm telling you guys. You just keep your ears open and your mind free.
Water is the space of land.
Yeah, I think this adventure's gonna be hotter than hell.
Well, probably, man. We're very close to the equator.
I will not be going to hell, I pray.
So you each get a dossier uploaded to your smartphones on codename Blacksmith, whose real name is Josh Winter, named after Patreon member Josh Winter.
Hey, Josh.
Bubba accidentally deletes his.
And has to look at somebody else's.
Yeah.
So codename Blacksmith owns a material refinery in Cape Town, South Africa, which is a front for the arms dealing that he's been doing for probably the past 20 years. He's wealthy enough to own a couple of private jets and a yacht that's currently moored at the Paradise Harbor in Nassau. And he's been in active contact for CHAM for over 7 years. And he often works in negotiations on behalf of CHAM to acquire assets, negotiate buyouts, anything they might need. Blacksmith is extremely paranoid and generally doesn't communicate without using his favorite form of encryption known as a keyword cipher, even when it's not really necessary, and often does business through proxies, preferring not to meet his clients and colleagues.
So even when he's like texting us like lunch, it's encrypted.
It's probably encrypted.
To run it through a cipher to figure out that he wants a frickin'
Street tacos.
Fires up the VPN for Wordle.
So this guy missed his check-in, and we're basically supposed to go see if he's dead or not.
Yes, you got to go check on him because he was supposed to undergo an important exchange, and we don't know where he is.
Okay, in the Bahamas.
Yep.
Okay, let's go.
So you're able to charter a boat to take you kind of on a luxurious journey.
Why do we take a boat on such a beautiful day? Why do we not ride our bicycles?
No, it's a very long way away.
God has showered us in his hot yellow love today. Let us take a bicycle.
No, it's a very long journey. You have to take a flight
I'm taking my
from
bicycle.
a military air base to the Colonial Airport on Paradise Island, which is part of Nassau in the Bahamas. Now, Paradise Island was once a shelter for pirates and rum smugglers working around imperial occupations. Now the Bahamas is kind of filled with tourists and is a very culturally rich icon for independence. I think the Bahamas has been independent for about 50 years.
What? I never heard it was touristy. I thought it was very indie.
Oh, yeah, man. There's tons of tourists. My mom and Gary came here on their 4th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
After you land your private aircraft, there's a Humvee kind of waiting for you on the airstrip where you're able to kind of drive into the city proper, which is filled with old colonial architecture painted bright colors, pink, blue, and green. The island center on Paradise Island is the Bay Street Thoroughfare, which is filled with boutiques and nightclubs crowded with people. And at the head of the downtown center is where our first scene takes place, the British Colonial Hotel. The hotel's a blend of historic and the modern, with colorful murals and bronze accents on whitewashed Corinthian columns and polished hardwood. Most of the major features of the island are visible from the hotel. You can see the Eagle Cafe from there, which is a local watering hole. It's a bar and cafe where patio furniture kind of spills out into the street.
Thank God I'm seeing Kyle riding, because that's usually Austin's job.
Over the tree line, you can see the Paradise Harbor and Marina. You can see Government House off in the distance, which used to be where the colonial government was stationed. I think that's more of a tourist destination now.
It's now a sandals resort where Stan Paul is known as Dr. Love.
Also visible from there is Fort Charlotte, the largest of the 3 historic fortresses that are around the Bahamas, and Christchurch Cathedral, which is a modern kind of Gothic revival church that is still operating, but is also a big tourist destination. And then finally, the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas. But for now, you step inside the British Colonial Hotel.
Bubba walks in. He's wearing a white sport coat that he got in Miami. And he's got on a white T-shirt with in large red letters on the T-shirt. It says Mayor of Tittytown.
It's a close election.
And jeans and sneakers.
Yeah, of course. You get plenty of looks as you kind of move through the high-class lobby. It's all polished wood and antique wallpaper.
Starchild is, of course, wearing tank top, spandex shorts, and flip-flops.
Dr. Puddles is trying to blend in. He's got jams and a T-shirt emblazoned with the slogan, "If I'm spying, I'm dying." I tried to blend in. No one, none the wiser, no.
Enchanté.
My mother is dead. I could love her.
So up on the 3rd floor is Blacksmith's hotel room. You've been supplied with a key, and you make it inside. Again, all you see is just polished wood and wallpaper at first. It would be very calming if the white wall in the back of the room wasn't splattered with blood. Looking around the room, Blacksmith is slumped in a wooden chair at the writing desk of the hotel room with a bullet hole in his right temple and a revolver with only one spent shell on the floor beneath the fingers of his right hand, which are hanging off the arm of the chair. Most of the room is actually very empty. On the blotter on the desk in front of the body, you see where he seemed to have jotted something down really fast on a pad of hotel stationery. The only other 2 factors of immediate notice are on the bed, where you see a cracked smartphone and what looks like a plane ticket. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, fellas, it looks like our job is done.
Starchild is going to use his powers of perception.
Powers.
An intoxicating glow begins to emanate from...
Imagine the $6 million man sound effect, but it's just a dude leaning in and squinting.
Mm-hmm. He's scanning the room, looking for any clues that might not be obvious. You know, there's all the things we can see, but he's just going to give the whole room a once-over to see if I guess.
Right. Yeah, go for it.
So his perception is 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're rolling 5 dice Target number's 10.
While he's doing that, Bubba checks the minibar to see if there's beer in there, and if there is, he drinks it.
I would also like one of those beers, please.
Rolled an 18.
So the first thing that you notice, specifically, Starchild, is that there is no luggage anywhere in the room. As you look closer, you see the plane ticket that's on the bed. There are no details, simply a flight number. You do see the prefix for Paris, France, up in the top right corner. Now, I will remind you guys, you do have an Overwatch agent, Con Ops agent at your disposal. His name is Zach Davis, named for Patreon member Zach Davis.
Aye.
Codename Wizard. And you can toss some of this information over to him if you need to further find more information about things. The smartphone is, like I said before, the screen is cracked. You pick it up and discover, oddly enough, it is not password protected. There are no text messages and no recent calls. Only 5 photos, and they're just landscape photos of cities. One of London, one of Hong Kong, one of Dubai, one of San Francisco, and one of Prague.
I will look at this phone. Oh no, his browser history is not good, my friends. He is into cream pieing his stepmother, apparently.
God!
It is a sin.
Corey, you're the mastermind.
Ah.
So we're going to say Dr. Puddle's cell phone buzzes, and it is Wizard. Hey, you guys, what'd you find out with Blacksmith?
Ah, Wizardo, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm in a hurry.
What? Why?
Well, because we got to figure out what happened to Blacksmith. He was supposed to take this exchange at 11:45, and it's 10 o'clock right now.
Oh, Blacksmith, I hate to tell you this. His head wears the wall.
Oh, shit, he's dead?
He was killed by a dead...
Son of a bitch. You guys got to figure out what happened and where he was going.
Hey, Wizard, you want to know what happened?
What?
You want to know what happened?
I want to know what happened.
I can't hear you. You want to know what happened?
Yes, please tell me.
Somebody pulled the trigger of his love gun, and it splattered all over the wall.
I don't know what that means, but if it means he's dead, then I don't really need any further information on
I
it.
knew love was in the air.
So what have you guys found?
Nothing much. We found a dead man who was Blacksmith.
There's no luggage. Dude was traveling light. There's a plane ticket with the code for Paris on it.
But to be fair, we often called him One Shirt the Blacksmith.
Well, and man, like, there's a lot of Parises.
Yeah, it's cool. It could be a Paris, Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city.
Oh, yeah.
If you like terrible.
So when you tell Wizard the flight number, you hear him click-clacking away at his computer for a few minutes, and he says, guys, this flight to Paris was for 7 o'clock this morning.
Well, man, like, he overslept.
Forever. Yes.
Yeah.
He will forever oversleep.
I mean, I've missed lots of flights.
he will go to heaven. I have kissed him on his toes.
So that doesn't make sense. Is there anything else in the room?
Well, blood, like, so.
Oh, there is the brain.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They got really good beer in the minibar, dude.
Oh, yes.
So, Bubba is stupid, but he is actually good at violence. And sometimes that involves faking suicide. So he wants to examine this, see if this is like how he
No,
would have done
Bubba,
it.
quit punching the body. The sins.
So he's going to look for any sort of unusual bruising, or if it looks like he was tied up and restrained.
You don't have to roll for that. The only thing unusual that you found is that it would look really odd to force suicide unless you were also cool with them writing a note, because he did scrawl something on that hotel stationery.
Oh, well, Bubba can read,
Damn, I thought I was the mastermind.
and he will read the note.
All right. You look closer at the note, and it's very simple, and it's worded bizarrely.
Gary killed me.
It says, Charlotte, all people understand regret. Lament quietly alone. Kisses.
Yes, yes. We say this in Italy quite a bit.
And something that especially odd is that Charlotte is only spelled with one T. So if someone wants to roll intellect on the note, they can probably discover a little bit more about it.
I would roll intellect because it is very high, but I will not. The sun is shining and I am in the Bahamas, and fuck you. No, I think the mastermind will roll his intellect. It's a 4.
Oh, I just assumed 2 was the highest possible intellect stat. Never mind.
All right, so you've got a 4. Are you going to modify that roll at all? Or do you want to wager anything?
Nah, first roll, I'm just going to go hard.
Okay.
And that's a 9. I failed the god.
All right, so all that you can really discern from it, other than the fact that there's only one T in Charlotte, other than the note's bizarre syntax, the word Charlotte is in all caps, while the first letter of each word of the message is capitalized.
I have figured out the mystery, my friend. It says Kapurlquack.
Well, Wizard looked like what drop off was he supposed to make? Like, was he supposed to go to the cleaners? Because we can take stuff.
I don't know. I just know he was supposed to meet someone to receive some intel on this new threat towards intelligence agencies, but we don't know anything more than that.
Well, where? Like, he didn't say where. He didn't text like, gonna do it at the harbor later. LOL.
Well, no, you guys have the note. I'm assuming he tried to leave someone a message before he was obviously murdered.
Maybe Charlotte's his girlfriend. I don't know.
Wait a minute. What'd you say? Charlotte?
Charlotte. Like harlot. Like Sodom and Gomorrah. Maybe that's the code.
Ah, yes, in the Bible I have read this.
Well, Charlotte's the name of that fort that's in the Bahamas, right?
Oh, yeah.
So does somebody else want to try to make a check to see if they can make sense of this?
I will. I got a 3 in intellect.
Okay.
One moment, my friend. Let me rub your feet as we do this, and I will look upon the note myself. Dr. Puddles is going to use his aspect teamwork.
Great.
It's plus 3D when helping a fellow agent accomplish a common goal. So I assume I can add plus 3D to Todd's roll?
By rubbing his feet?
Yeah.
While I'm trying to crack this code and getting my feet rubbed, I'm going to do this in the downward dog position.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yes.
That's something that somebody named Starchild would do.
Of course.
Yes.
So also throw in another 2D for your roll because that's relevant to your code name.
Yes, we call this the Italian Greyhound technique.
Rolled a 22.
So it crosses Starchild's mind. The file they received on their smartphones briefing them about this little job did mention that Blacksmith insisted on using keyword ciphers in communications, even when it was unnecessary. Or perhaps in situations like this when maybe it was, if he had to hide something from whoever was about to stage his suicide. You tell Wizard about this, and he hooks onto the idea that Charlotte is only spelled with one T, which is indicative of words that are necessary when enciphering messages with a keyword. Because a keyword is no good if it uses more than one letter, because that messes up the algorithm for creating the letters of the code. So you hear Wizard click-clacking away on his computer for a minute. He says, hang on. After a few minutes, he says, oh my God.
What is it, nerd?
And you get a buzz on your phone where he's forwarded you the feed he's just seen. And the letters APURLQAK, if they are enciphered by Charlotte as a keyword, are decoded to spell the word Crudesco. CRUDESCO.
Man, that's what I was thinking it was.
You guys just stay there for a second, and I got to get the director. He's got to know about this. I'll call you back.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at it and you think Crudesco.
Crudesco, guys, let's go to Crudesco and get a hot dog.
Crudesco.
So while you're waiting on Wizard to call back, everybody make a perception check. Just a single, no modifier perception check.
I got 3 dice.
I have a 3 in perception.
I have 5.
Okay.
I got an 11.
I got a 9.
18.
So Bubba's digging around in the minibar some more, but Starchild and Puddles happen to look out the window right as Wizard rings off, and they notice the sun flashing off of some kind of reflection in the crowd. And when they look closer, they see a man sitting at the cafe table outside the Eagle Cafe, watching the window of the hotel room with binoculars. But before they can do anything, the landline phone next to the bed rings.
Hello.
Of course it was. Bubba got to it first. He was still in the mini fridge.
Well, I wasn't looking out the window.
So Bubba answers the phone.
He was guarding the phone.
Josh Winter's room, codename Blacksmith.
Good morning, sir. This is your concierge courtesy wake-up call for 10 a.m. as requested. Also, would you like us to continue holding on to your envelope?
Man, I didn't give y'all no envelope or wake up. Wait, this is not my room.
Yes, you did. You gave us the envelope last night when you requested the wake-up call at 9 p.m.
Okay, somebody's going to have to talk to this guy.
I'll take the phone. Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is Josh's brother, Jake.
Try Craig.
This is Josh's brother, Craig, my dude.
Yes, sir.
Josh had to step out for a moment, but if it's just the same to you, I'm going to come down there to the lobby and get that envelope and bring it up here to Josh so he can have it as soon as he gets out of the shower.
All right, we'll have it at the front desk ready for you. All right, so the phone call tells you a couple of things, which you don't have to roll in order to know. If a wake-up call was requested for 10 o'clock, then that means the plane ticket for a flight that left at 7 a.m. is a red herring. That's a ruse.
Okay, so y'all spotted somebody watching us with binoculars, right? Mm-hmm. And we've got a package to pick up. Wizard is freaked out. My character's really only good with violence.
Right.
So if y'all want me to go beat the shit out of the guy with binoculars, he will happily do that.
Let's do that.
Yes, you go down there and you beat this man, and he will hurt and mule like a crying grandmother, but he will give us the information we need. In the meantime, I will go get the envelope.
Now, Enzo, is this like beat the shit out of him like a Little League soccer game gone wrong, or like he looked at my girlfriend and we're at a bar somewhere in Western Illinois?
I would say you may dislodge his cornea.
Okay. Yeah. No, parameters is all I need. I like guidelines.
Yes, once he sees he's looking not good, he will move on and give you the beans that
Cool,
you
man.
so desire, and we all do, and God bless us.
So Bubba unsuddenly walks out of the hotel, walks down the street, crosses over to the Eagle Cafe, and just starts looking for the guy.
So by the time you get to the cafe, there is no one sitting at that table.
He looks around to see if he went anywhere.
He looks around to see if the guy he didn't see initially went anywhere.
Why do you think this wouldn't occur to him as a bad plan?
Well, I hope John Dynasty hears the immortal words of Dr. Puddles in the back of his head saying, "Sniff the seat."
That would not occur to him. What would occur to him is he looks for the most attractive woman there and goes up to her and be like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm John Dynasty." And pro bass fisherman.
That definitely works in Missouri.
Yeah. Also, private detective, honestly. And did you see a dude sit at the table? And if so, which way did he go? Also, are you free later?
I am free later, and if you wouldn't mind telling me where you'll be in the next, couple of hours, maybe we can meet up.
Well, I don't know, because I'm probably going to get into a lot of fights between now and whenever that is. But if you just hang out at this bar, I will find you. So,
all right.
Do I need to roll charisma?
You don't, but this woman is invoking your reckless behavior.
Sure.
And is going to use it to try and get some information out of you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. He's not a great spy.
What is reckless behavior?
That's one of Kyle's aspects.
Yeah, I'm an adrenaline junkie, so the compel is that I often jump into situations unprepared.
Oh.
She asks, and Bubba is only too happy to tell her, yeah, we're going to Fort Charlotte here in a minute because I think there's somebody we got to meet. So that's going to count as a betrayal, which is going to remove one trust from the pool. So back at the hotel, Starchild and Puddles descend the central staircase and step up to the front desk.
Yes, we are here for the envelope.
You are here for what envelope?
The envelope of the dead man.
You are not the man I spoke to on the phone.
Yes, I just speak in funny voices on phones. They call me the jerky boy.
All right, make a charisma roll.
Okay, one of my aspects is don't trust the dossier. I get plus 3D when I'm trying to lie.
Okay, you need it.
But the compel is lying is addictive. You must lie when given the opportunity, which is like always.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm rolling 66 now.
Okay.
Yep, I won.
So it's a good thing you rolled higher because the concierge rolled a 10 on his resolve.
Oh, yeah, much higher than that.
Yes, I suppose so, sir. Did you say the man was dead?
Inside.
Dead. Yes, he has spent too much time in the Bahamas. It is a sour, ugly place where God does not smile.
But the sunshine is nice.
Horrible thing to say about a man's country.
I do not care for the cut of jibs.
So he slides you the envelope and then just says, "Please leave my establishment."
Okay, but what is an envelope but the home of a letter?
So you open up the envelope, and inside is a sliced strip of leather that is scored such that it looks like it came off of probably a briefcase.
Like how long are we talking about? Little
It's like a little 5-inch strip of leather.
Okay, so something to spank a hamster with.
Yeah.
I don't know what Blacksmith's into.
Yeah.
Just then, before you can respond, Puddle's phone buzzes, and it's Wizard again.
Oh, it goosed me in my back pocket. Nah, Mr. Wizard, I thought you were dead.
No, I had to go get the director. He had to figure something out for this. So, what did you guys figure out? We know we're going to, where is it?
Well, I figured out it is a small sin, but if I lie, things will happen good to me.
You hear a couple of beeps, and Neil is suddenly joined in on the conference call. Agents, tell me what you have found.
Well, we send John Dynasty to pummel a man. We do not know what happened. Someone will get hurt along the way, I am sure. But that is between him and God.
Well, first of all, where are you supposed to go to make the meeting?
Well, I use my mind area to deduce. We go to Fort Charlotte.
Listen up, bastards. You need to know at least a little bit of what Crudesco may be. 2 months ago, an agent named Kenneth Bousseau, named after Patreon member Kenny Bussey,
Oh, thank you.
from France's Deuxième Bureau, or the DGSC, was working with our network in Turkey to investigate some vague, unidentified intel on a new kind of weapon.
Fuck the Turkish!
Some kind of new international threat.
I'm sorry, I sometimes think about a turkey bit my mother. The poison from its floppy jowls gave her the death. But she sits on the lap of Mary and bounces merrily.
So where was I? Crudesco is apparently this new international threat, particularly to military and intelligence services all over the world. Like Cold War Part 2 level stuff. After 2 weeks across Asia, Agent Kenneth went missing. Or rather, he signed off his last report to the head of station with a coded flag that indicated he was going deep cover. Now, on the surface, that's nothing to worry about. Agents undergo deep cover all the time when they want to run an investigation without having to worry about regular check-ins with the grown-ups.
It's probably one of those American flags with the thin blue line for one of the stripes.
Well, that's right, buddy. These colors don't run.
The problem is this agent never resurfaced. Deep cover ops don't last longer than a few days, so he was presumed KIA, but the French insisted on keeping case file open because of a single strange transmission they found on a routine airwave sweep. It was a message in Morse code, pre-recorded and programmed to repeat every hour on an old-fashioned shortwave radio band, a numbers station. The message was simple. His code name, the emergency alert flag, and a single word. Crudesco. We believe Crudesco is to be the designation of this new unidentified threat to our cooperative intelligence services. All right, so what we know is that Blacksmith was planning to receive special intel on this Crudesco threat, and that the delivery will take place at 11:45 a.m., apparently at Fort Charlotte, which is a huge tourist destination on Paradise Island, and it's just a short drive from the British Colonial Hotel.
To which Bubba is already on the way. He impetuously, due to his reckless behavior, forgot to tell his friends where he was going.
That is okay. We will ride the bicycles.
All right, so you guys are headed to Fort Charlotte?
A car may have been stolen to get there.
Yeah, sure. We'll head over that away.
Over the next 20 minutes, Bubba weaves in and out of traffic on the long road to Fort Charlotte before he realizes it was a very short drive and he did not have to circumnavigate the island.
Well, you got to lose tails.
That's what he always says when he's late somewhere. Luckily, the three of you wind up arriving at nearly the same time. Fort Charlotte is the largest of the three historic forts found in Nassau. It was built in 1789 and is 100 acres large, commanding a pretty impressive view of Paradise Island, Nassau, and the rest of the harbor.
Oh, look, a new fort.
Tours are conducted throughout the day, featuring characters dressed in period costumes, and the firing of the master cannon at noon is one of the big highlights of the destination for a lot of the tourists. At this time of day, the seaside fort's overrun with tourists who were trying to beat the rush, and of course they didn't. The fort's made up of two 30-foot tapered columns joined in the middle kind of by a vast concrete enclosure. like a giant pillbox between two silos.
It only has 2 columns.
And it's actually built into the short cliffside overlooking the harbor. The towers are capped by bronze cannons accurate to the period when the fortress was built, and there's a lower walkway that traces around the perimeter of the entire fortress, about 2 stories above sea level. The interior is closed off, so tourists are just milling about the outside and the entrance of the central kind of keep, or they're examining the cannon towers, while the more adventurous can kind of descend the stone steps and walk the stone walkway overlooking the water. Now, since this is a historic structure, there are at least 12 visible Royal Defense soldiers standing guard at strategic points along the upper levels.
Guys, you know what this place needs? Pyro.
Hell yeah, man.
You are here to receive the delivery that Blacksmith was originally supposed to take. How do you want to do it? You don't know who he was meeting. You just know the appointment time, and you know the place.
I see a rope, and I'm going to use my athleticism to climb onto that rope and swing out around the fort, much like swinging out over a stadium crowd to see if there's anyone who looks suspicious like that.
So I'm not going to let you see the whole fort based off of one Tarzan swing around a structure.
Yeah.
But you can post up at some strategic spot and kind of overwatch the structure as a whole while the rest of the agents explore a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. So my athleticism is a 3?
Well, what you'll be looking for is a perception roll.
Well, then that's 5. Oh, I rolled an 8. But,
God.
But one of my advantages is lucky. I get 3 re-rolls per game for any dice that were a 1.
Oh, okay.
So I had 2 1s on that roll.
Excellent.
So I'm going to re-roll both of those. 11.
Nice.
Wow.
All right. So as John Dynasty and Dr. Puddles thread their way through the crowds.
Less threading and more, hey, I'm John Dynasty. Trying to get through here.
I am this man's doctor. He has the problem.
Starchild paces the outer edge of the 2 stone silos overlooking the walkway, and he spots not something that would immediately indicate that it's the contact, but he at least sees a man with a briefcase down on the lower walkway.
Starchild takes out his binoculars, which each lens is in the shape of a star,
Sure.
to get a closer look.
All right. Just for thinking of that, you won't have to roll in order to find this next clue.
Awesome.
Starchild looks over the man on the lower walkway, and as he turns to look out toward the open ocean, Starchild can see that on the back of the briefcase, there is a section missing from the briefcase that matches the cut strip of leather that you found in the envelope.
I assume we have some way to maintain communication with
Absolutely.
each other.
Yes, we have it with the psychic bond,
Yeah.
like all spies.
So acting on Starchild's information, John Dynasty goes up,
Okay.
looks down at the guy, tilts down his sunglasses so he's very much looking down at him. Hey, how you doing? John Dynasty. I think that's for me. Meanwhile, in his other hand, he's holding a 6-pack of beer, of which 2 are missing.
No one knows how he got inside with it, and some of the Royal Defense Guards that are standing nearby kind of give him the side eye, like, how did he get that in here?
Man, you just don't ask permission, you just do.
So the very thin, pale-looking man with the briefcase kind of turns at Dynasty's words, looks him up and down and says, you have something for me?
Yup. And that's when he slams the 6-pack of beer right to the dude's face.
Oh, my God.
I'm invoking, hold my beer.
That's not what that means, but I love it. Let's get our shit together and roll violence.
I'm going to use a trust point. And how many dice does that give me, Austin?
4 dice.
So, John, how many dice are you rolling?
Well, let me see. I've got 4 for violence, 3 for hold my beer, 11.
This man is going to invoke your reckless behavior, having anticipated the belligerence of people who may want to intercept this information. And he's going to penalize that roll at least 3 dice. And I'm going to roll to see how many we actually do. Yeah, you got to take off those 4 dice. And I'm not going to burn another trust, but we're just going to call that a betrayal since that kind of wastes that trust point.
Well, that's hurtful.
Because he's going to try to use his athleticism to dodge this maneuver.
So I've got cold-blooded killer also, so I get a free wager on all violence ranks.
Okay. That just means if you do hit him, you can rank up the injury by 1.
I got a 22.
You got a 22? All right, well, that definitely beats his 16. There's a dull clank, and the man's head snaps back. You're not sure if it broke his neck, but you're kind of worried it did.
No.
And he slams back into the concrete floor of the walkway, just inside the shadow of the intersection between the 2 columns, and the briefcase clatters to the ground at his feet.
Oh, John caught that, just turns quickly on his heel and's walking away, popping the other beer open.
And he's just about to round the corner when somewhere in town you hear a clock striking noon and begin clanging. And the crowd noise kind of picks up. And just as that commemorative cannon goes off, John Dynasty feels a bullet rip through his jacket, potentially hitting his flesh. But we'll find that out next time.
I'm sorry, my friend. I just start shooting.
So someone just
That's
shot
fair.
at you using the cover of the cannon fire.
Well, that's smart,
And we'll see how that happens next time.
because I would have thought it was the cannon that shot me.
All right. That scene resolved itself much quicker than I expected.
That's why you send a John Dynasty.
That's right. He's bonded and insured. John Dynasty for all your
Absolutely.
spy needs.
Absolutely didn't miss out on any other information.
He has business cards. John Dynasty, spy.
He's got a TV commercial on the local affiliate there, this NBC affiliate.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our first session with Cold Shadows. We've dealt with a little bit of a murder mystery and some shocking intrigue in a public place.
Solving problems the American way.
But we'll see where it goes.
You know what else is intriguing, Austin?
What's that?
Never knowing what number you're going to roll on a die.
Well, how can I figure that out?
Well, it just depends. It's always a mystery. It's always intriguingness.
Well, maybe it wouldn't be if we had better dice to roll.
And if you need better dice, go to NorseFoundry.com. They have all manner of dice made from all manner of materials, shapes, sizes, and you choose your dice, you go to the checkout, and you enter promo code CHAM, that's CHAM, and you'll get 10% off your order. That's the Bastard Quest discount at NorseFoundry.com. And we would like to thank our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right there on the banks of the Ohio River.
The bathroom sucks. Don't pee. Just go in the river. Like the fish.
Don't go into the river. The cross currents are dangerous. You'll drown.
You'll die.
Yeah. Also, thank you, our listeners, our patrons, everyone who enjoys this show. If you like what you hear, don't forget to leave reviews and rate us and all of that good stuff. But particularly thank you to all of our patrons. We do this for you.
Yeah, God bless you all.
Or just tell us. Comment on our posts. Flag us down in the street.
Say, hey, we like it.
Don't talk to me. I'm busy.
Thank you for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.